Welcome to the 2350 Effect. The 2350 Effect starts now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 2350 Effect. Happy Sunday. I'm the co-host, co-collaborator of the 2350 Effect, Damian Kinsey, and I'm joined as always with Dr. Tanya Farron. Dr. Farron, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here with us tonight for the 2350 Effect, Finding Your Joy and Avoiding Resentment. I am the co-creator, collaborator with Damian Kinsey for the 2350 Effect, as well as the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit that is coming October 3rd and 4th of this year, coming up very soon. And I'm also the owner of Creative Living Ideas.
All right. Thank you so much. So let's just jump right into it. Finding your joy
Let's jump
and
into it.
avoiding resentment.
Mhm.
Thank you for those people out there joining us. Drop where you're joining us in from, and we'd love to shout you out.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about this topic. So, as Damien and I were preparing for this event, this live that we were, that we're hosting right now, we were talking about how important joy is in your life, as well as avoiding resentment in your life. And we started looking at our presenters, and we've got some specific presenters that we want to highlight and talk to you about that would be able to, really kind of incorporate this thought process about finding your joy and avoiding resentment. And so that's something that we're going to share with you tonight is some of these presenters as well. But, to get us started and talking about some different, tips, but what is some ways that you find joy in life, Damien? What are some things that you outwardly do? And those of you that are in the audience with us, please jump in and participate. What are some things that you are doing to find joy in your life?
I think it starts with self. You have to have that level of joy, passion, or whatever commitment, and it has to come from within. So I always start with myself. What is my happiness? What is my joy? What is my goal? And what are those things I want to accomplish?
Right. Exactly. And I love that. And I love Leslie's comment. Thank you. We cannot experience joy and resentment in the same moment. And that is true, right? You can't have those two emotions at the same moment. One of the things that I think about with joy is, I think as little kids, we find things that create joy in our life, like maybe the holidays or a present or a birthday. Those are easy things that bring us joy in life. But then as we age and mature, we really have to start seeking for some things, in life to find joy. Real life starts coming and hit you. And so how do you go through and find that real joy in life? And I've really been talking to a lot of friends about the work that I started doing in 2008 just on myself, which has propelled me to the Work-Life Balance Summit that are here now, as I've done a lot of research and learning about finding joy. And, one of the things that I like to do is I like to give to other people. And when I give to other people, then I feel joyful. I really find a great joy in that, whether I am donating things to a cause, whether I'm volunteering for something, or whether I'm just giving of my own time and energy, or, you know, doing my best to make somebody feel special. It helps bring me joy. And I'll give you a couple specific examples. Just celebrating someone's birthday to me. Like, I want to make someone feel special. Maybe I ask them what their favorite dessert is, or what kind of meal they would like, or what they would like to do, and that brings me joy to make somebody else happy. That is definitely something that I can do. If I can help someone or give them my time, because it doesn't always have to be gifts or giving of things, but if I can give them of my time, like, maybe somebody needs just an additional support or wants to have a friend to go to dinner with. If I can be that person for them, that definitely brings me joy as well in life. So finding different ways.
I think birthdays is a good one, like you said, celebration of life, gathering. It's always a good opportunity to bring people together, fun events, talk about stuff, positive stuff. And when you do bring people together for like birthdays and holidays, special events or celebrations, you get to talk about a lot of positive things that went on. Sometimes you have people who aren't around or can't be at the function, but you still think about those positive things as well that they brought to light. So I think that's really a good positive way to
Mhm.
kind of bring those level of joy and positivity into place.
Yes, exactly.
Leslie
Exactly.
says service equals joy for her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Randy, for coming and showing up. Selassie for showing up. Christy for showing up as well. Seeing people in the audience and participation is always a joyful event and opportunity. Thanks for everyone showing up and coming. Another thing that could possibly bring you joy is overall milestones. What I mean about like overall milestone is like, when you buy your first car, your first house, you get your first job,
Yes.
you get a promotion. Those things can bring joy and positivity in place. And I'm gonna bring something on a micro level that people can relate to. Cooking your first meal or cooking something new can bring you joy
Mhm.
and positivity and cooking for other people. I know we're starting to shift towards from the summer, the barbecues, the
Mhm.
in the gatherings to indoor stuff like the holidays. Those things always bring you joy. Cooking and breaking bread and eating together can always bring joy.
Mhm. It really can. And you're right, learning something new. And I want to go back to Christy's comment about her cat. Her cats bring her joy. And I think there's one of the things that I want to say is, being mindful of these beautiful animals that we have in our life, because sometimes I think we just go through the motions, right? We feed the dog, we let the dog out, we pet the dog, we get the dog groomed, we take care of the dog, we take the dog to the vet. The dog is here, the dog is here. But do we ever just sit and kind of just enjoy their presence and enjoy, what they bring to us and what we bring to them? And, it's always nice to have a pet who's excited to see you every day and taking that time to just, really be mindful of our spaces and places. And definitely think that that is a good thing. Pets really bring me joy too. I love seeing them.
Yes, they're definitely joyful. Now, speaking of joy, there's a big, big, big push, big switch in the last couple of years. Well, to the forefront about AI.
Mhm.
Some people love it, some people like it. It brings joy for people to be able to utilize AI to get their work done, get things done
Mhm.
faster, complete stuff, interact with people. So it can actually bring you joy. And one of our presenters, Felipe, is talking about AI.
He is. He is. Do you want to let me share my screen and I'll pull that up? So, when you register for the Work Life Balance Summit, the Professional Work Life Balance Summit, and join us, you're going to be able to see the AI Wellness Advantage by Felipe. And so, this is a topic that he's going to share and talk with everybody about. The AI Wellness Advantage. I know he's been talking about it in some of his rooms or had earlier in the summer before he had taken some time off. But yeah, I'm excited to hear this and how it can help bring more joy to our life. I know personally myself, I use AI quite a bit, and it really does put some ease into my day. I'm also speaking about AI in business for another event that I am at, Dr. Rose event. So if you want to learn more about that, the women's leadership experience with her that I'm presenting, let me know, send me a message. But this is the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit that we are hosting with Felipe.
And I think the big part of it is he's in human resources. He's also working on Nicole on publishing his children's book, and using AI and wellness to your advantage is a big thing because it can be helpful. It can make things easier, and also it can be healthy or unhealthy depending on the way you use it. You can be frustrated because you can get so much information, and it might be too much information, and it can frustrate you. Or you can get enough information that you rely on it so much that you lose your voice. So having a healthy balance is also important as well.
And learning which tools to use. That's the hard part sometimes. Sometimes learning which tool is appropriate and right for you. And so I'll be demonstrating and showing some of that also. And I'm sure Felipe will be giving us some information as well on that. Absolutely.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to talk about another presenter that's talking about joy? Are you ready? Yeah. So Paul Lapunshinsky, I'm going to work on that. I keep working on that every time I see his name. He is new to us. He is going to present on unlocking creativity and growth through the 8 play personalities. And, gosh, whenever you hear the word play, like to me, play brings joy, right? That means fun, play, enjoyment. This is a funny story about my daughter. My daughter loves, no matter what age she is, can we go through the toy aisle? Can we go through the toys? Because toys are fun, right? That's as a kid, you get a new toy. It's fun. You're playing. So when you're hearing the word play, most of the time it's probably bringing joy to you. And so I'm excited to listen to Paul talk about unlocking creativity and growth through the play personalities and learning more about what the 8 play personalities are.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well because he talks about how play isn't just for kids. It's a powerful tool for creativity. And I agree with him. Sometimes we got to embrace it. Like you said, it helps with our personality. It helps with our outcomes. It helps with recognition. And we also need to incorporate play into different activities, what we do, because even work has to be fun as well. School and education has to be fun. Anything we do can be fun. How the people, they chop vegetables and they hum and sing a song, or they're grooving to the beat. That's part of like play personality, and Paul is talking about unlocking that through his particular presentation, and I'm looking forward to actually listening to it, reviewing it, and going through the whole and finding out what all 8 of them are.
Yes.
8 personalities of play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So another great topic that we have here is let me get to her.
And happy birthday, Felipe.
Yes. Happy birthday, Felipe.
Definitely at the summit.
Yes, you'll see him there. Lisa Fevick is talking happy gut, happy mind, the surprising link between food and your well-being. Oh my gosh, right? If you feel good, you're more apt to be joyful, right? So, no one likes to feel yucky after they've had a heavy meal or something that they ate that didn't agree with them, and I think she's going to probably get into that gut brain axis and talk about that, the link between your food and your well-being. Again, this is the Work-Life Balance Summit. So what does happy gut, happy mind have to do with work-life balance? Oh my gosh, if we're not happy physically, and, we're not putting good things into our body, how can we experience joy? How can we have a good work-life balance? So I'm excited. If you've not listened to Lisa Fevick, she's so just an expert in her field. And that's the thing that I love about this event is that we have experts that are in the field in all of their areas that are coming to share with us life-changing information. So it's amazing to have. So yeah, I'm excited about Lisa Fevick and this topic.
And I think Lisa does a great job of explaining the correlations between your diet, what you eat, what's in your system, to how your moods affect you. I know she does a lot on menopause. She does a
Yes.
lot on dietary needs and how specific foods, vegetables, fruits, and even drinks affect your whole body. So I think it's so important. And we're talking about joy, and like you said, like certain foods that you eat can also affect your mood.
Yes.
And I'm curious, people out there, can you let me know? Just put a Y in there in the comment section if you ever ate something that actually kind of made you feel, and you kind of, you were speaking of avoiding resentment. You ate it, you knew you shouldn't eat it, and you were like, you know what? I kind of resent that. It tastes so good, but I made a poor decision. So put a Y in the comment
Oh my
section
gosh.
and let us know that you've been there. I'm gonna put a Y myself because I've been in that situation before, and certain foods affect your mood, your outcome, and it can actually be something that it kind of set you back, especially
I'm
when
pretty.
you're going well. You know.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like that's the worst, right? When you're going well and then all of a sudden you have a setback for sure. Yes. And I'm putting a Y in for me. I'm just not connected to this chat. So my Y would go to Facebook and to YouTube. So that's where I am streaming. But yes, Lisa Fevick is incredible and it's always good to get information. The more info, you may know some information about it, but I promise you're probably going to learn something new about that. So, that topic, always something new.
Hey,
Derek
Derek, you have
has
the
a cast
cast
iron
iron
stomach.
stomach. Some people want you to share that with them, Derek. Tell us your secret.
That's awesome. Maybe you have just good gut. I don't know. A good gut. Well, while we're here, I'm just going to pause for a second and I want you guys to see also Creative Living Ideas YouTube channel is where you can catch all of the 2350 Effect lives. You're going to be coming up here pretty soon. Actually, I was just looking, in the next 2-3 weeks, Damien, we start bringing guests on for the Work-Life Balance Summit. So you guys will be seeing the presenters coming in here and talking. So you'll want to subscribe to this channel. It's Creative Living Ideas, Tanya Farron. You can see the little CLI, little with the color scheme above it here, this little logo. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the YouTube channel, that would be great. You can also go to Creative Living Ideas website. And you can go to the Work-Life Balance Summit. I'll drop these in the meeting notes today, and you guys can get access to this. This is where you would go and click to get tickets for the event. When you click those tickets, it's going to look like this. So the tickets are on sale right now. For 2 days, it's $175. For 1 day, if you want to just come Friday or if you just want to come Saturday, those are $100 tickets. So you can just register with an account that you already have Zoom. So if you have a Gmail account that you've used for Zoom before, then you just register with that account. That is how you get into the event. It is a Zoom event. So you can come here, and when you get to the site, once you click that on Creative Living Ideas, you'll be able to see all the sessions and who is presenting. And then you'll also have access to the lobby. Now, something that's really important for you guys to all know is that these are recorded and you have up to 30 days to go back and watch this. So if you're not going to be around that day and you're like, well, I still want to be a part of it, get yourself a ticket and come to the event. And even if you watch a couple of sessions, you're going to be able to go back and rewatch the rest of the day. So, and it's always nice when you're taking notes, so you don't have to say, what did Damien say to me about this? Well, I'm not going to remember that. What did Lisa tell me about diet? What was the 8 play personalities? You can go back in and you can watch those things. What AI tool did Felipe recommend? I can't remember the name of it. You can go back in and watch it. So you're getting a whole month worth of information just for the price of this ticket. All right. There's one more we wanted to talk about that we really feel like is super important to finding joy in life, right? No one likes to be broke, right? No one likes to not have money to spend or to go out to dinner or to buy a new handbag or shoes or a new, I don't know, TV or whatever it is. So do you know your money personality? And this is Tanya Collins, and I've been doing some work with Tanya Collins and on helping her out with some different things. And honestly, Tanya is great at this topic, and she's got great identifiers for your money personality. It was things that I had never really thought of. And so it is really great, right? I mean, I like to have money. So money makes me happy. Sometimes it brings me joy because I can do other things with it. I can, take someone to lunch, buy them a gift, things like that. It gives you a sense of security. So this is a great workshop for you to come in and see with Tanya Collins.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it as I say, like money personality. Like when you think about it, like your money has personality,
Mhm.
And when I so many things I could think of, but I definitely would love to know what Tanya is getting at with that.
Mhm.
Your money coming to life. Is it the things you buy, the habits, the trends, the things that go on with you? I like to know, and I definitely want to attend that workshop. And the good part about it is it will definitely be on replay for me, and I'll be able to attend it as well as we spend time with it. Your money does come to life. You
Yeah.
are the things you are the things you buy, the things you want, and money is real cool. I agree. We all have bills to pay and things to get and take care of, and yeah.
Right. It is true. It really is true. And, I feel like, when we talk about things, because we also do some financial conversations at the Wellness Experience, but, at the Work-Life Balance Summit, right? Balancing our work and our life. If we're working in a place where we're not earning the money that we're needing, there's going to be resentment, right? You're going to resent your job. You're going to resent the bills that you have, things like that. But if you are, finding the right jobs, or you're finding the right work-life balance, things like that, with your money, you're going to be more apt to find joy and have less resentment in life, right? So,
And she's definitely going to be talking about the habits, give you tips on trends that you might notice and not notice about your spending. So definitely come out and also reach out and connect with Tanya
yeah.
Collins as well.
Absolutely. And connect with all of them. So, I am in the lobby right now. And when you see the speakers, like Damien and I have our LinkedIn and YouTube, you can start following. Most of these speakers are all on LinkedIn. This is the list of all of our speakers. And so you're able to connect with them all on LinkedIn. They all are powerhouses. They all are giving presentations for us. They all already have their own live streams, their own channels, their own TikToks, their own YouTubes. And so these are great ways for you to, to really build your own positive habits to find joy. So if you're finding an area where you have frustration, this is your chance to start following someone who is going to be able to help fill the need for you, and help kind of bridge that gap for you so that you're having less resentment, less stress in that area of your life, and you're building more joy in your life. That work-life balance, y'all, is so important. I mean, I can't tell you enough. I know people say to me all the time, Tanya, you work all the time. Damien can attest, I do not. He knows me well enough to know I do not. I value my play as much as I value my work. And I am great at setting boundaries of that. And I feel it's so important for people. And so if we can help you find ways that you can find more joy in your life by coming to the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit, I feel great. I'll feel like my job is done.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important. All these presenters are talking about different topics that are really helpful. AI, talking about play, talking about gut health, and also talking about money. Those are all four different components of wellness. And it's so important to make sure that you're maintaining all components of those things, because you don't want to be in a situation where you start becoming resentful or have resentment towards, not balancing things out.
So how do you avoid resentment, Damien? What is a tip that you have to avoid resentment in life?
I try to look at life lessons from anything that becomes a setback. So
Mhm.
seeing it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and develop. That's
Is
how I
this one
start
of
with.
your check-ins? Would you have a check-in about this
Yes,
to yourself?
yes. And I think Tanya's alluded to the fact that you have to have check-ins, and you also have to have meetings with yourself. And you have to make sure you are okay. So those
Mhm.
things are definitely so important. Hey,
Yeah.
Felipe, man, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Felipe. I agree. And I think finding resentment, I think people, you call it a check-in. I love that Damien does that. He checks in with himself. I call it kind of just a reflective practice. So if something didn't go my way, I feel that emotion for a minute, whether it's frustration or sadness or anger or whatever the emotion may be that I feel along with it. But then I also sit and think about, like, what could I have done differently? How can I change this outcome in the future? What do I need to do now? A lot of times there's that instead of just really sitting in resentment. So we don't want to have things, right, continue to cycle through again and again and again, which is why we're hosting this event, because we want people to have the tools to be able to change their life and to move forward and find more joy in their life and less resentment in their life. There are certain things that'll help that people resent, and there's patterns that we can avoid.
You ever lived in the bitter or had someone who you've known that's lived in a bitter space?
Yes.
So it gets to the point where it starts consuming you as an individual. You start thinking about it too much. And if you've had a conversation with someone who is so frustrated about something someone did, and they're living in what we call the bitter, they get to the point where they're talking about it overly.
Yes.
And as a person, I've been in a situation where I was frustrated about something and I thought about it too much. And once I realized that I was thinking about it too much, I started shifting my mind and started moving forward and started finding opportunities. Always find an opportunity of where there was a life lesson during those opportunities. And that helps me always to get out of it. So I never want to live in a space where I'm living in the bitter or resentment. So because it takes away your joy, and we talked last week about vacuums. It starts vacuuming and sucking the air out of your joy, and pretty soon you start becoming frustrated, and then the frustration can lead to being frustrated towards your surroundings, people and individuals, and you could pass it on and push it on to other people, and it's not fair to other people. So I want to live in the joy versus living in resentment.
Yes. Yes. And I think, I've had some conversations with some friends lately. And again, I started this journey in 2008 and have been learning ever since, then, and continue to learn. But if we continue to live, and I love how you said live in the bitter or live in resentment, then we continue to retell a story in our brain. And once we continue to tell that story in our brain over and over, we don't get the story out and the story keeps happening. So we have to flip our brain and we have to think differently. We have to change the story that we keep reliving or staying in the bitter or the anger and retelling the story again and again and again so that we can move forward and find joy, because we're living in a very, very bitter area of our life. And I'm just going to give you a brief example. I have a friend who has a relationship. A year ago, I saw the friend. The friend told me all the negative stories of her relationship that she was in. I saw her a year ago now, so it's been a year. She is still telling the same stories. And nothing has changed in life. And we finally had a discussion together, and I shared with her that you have to change your story. Like, you're living in this and you keep living in this. So how do you want life to be moving forward? What are some of the things that you can change, or thought patterns that you can change, or behaviors you can change? So if you know anybody that is living in the bitter, who is living with resentment, who is very negative, in a negative space, and they're wanting help, and I think that's so important. They are wanting help. bring them to the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit so they can meet some of these amazing people and go through these amazing topics with our presenters. So, invite them to come, encourage them to spend their money. This is an investment in self. Encourage them to spend the money on themselves to join us. It serves no purpose.
For those people that don't know about 08, is it safe to say, because I kind of know the story, it was a pivot and a shift for you where you said, I have to do this to get to here, right? Correct?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And if you want to share, that's up to you.
Yes, it was. And I've shared this a lot of times with people. It was a tough year. And I don't like retelling the story, but I will for the sake of this. My husband in 2008 lost his job, which meant we lost our health insurance, which meant I had to pick that up. I was supporting a family of 4 on a teacher's salary. My mother was diagnosed with cancer, and my grandmother passed all in the same week. Suddenly, my grandmother passed. It was a hard year. It was a hard few years after that. And I had to dig really, really deep and seek out people like we have in this presentations to bring me to where life is today, which is beautiful and amazing and really positive and joyful. And so, sometimes I think we forget to sit in the now. And so taking that moment to sit in the now and relishing in a moment and really thinking about how beautiful your life really is. We all have beautiful parts of our lives if we recognize them. If we take the time to think about them and we recognize the good things that are happening in our life. So really focusing on the positive things that are happening, the joyful relationships that you have already in your life. The more that you focus on those joyful things, the more joy you're going to receive.
Thank you for sharing that. I really didn't want to put you in a space where you have to relive something that you didn't want to.
No.
But I just wanted people to just not fully know, but know that in 08 is when you did start this journey. And I think people get lost in the fact that they think that we're the finished product and we're not. Mm-hmm. And they don't understand the work, the setbacks, the frustration, the deep breaths, the positive affirmations, and the belief that things will get better to get to even this point in our careers in life, that we even have a summit that we're presenting and putting out there. And it's not because everything fell our way. It's not because everything was easy. It's because at the end of the day, it was always, this too will pass. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Things will get better, and, keep pushing forward. And I think if you get anything out of this discussion today, that, your time, your peace, your joy, it comes with setbacks. Mm-hmm. It comes with opportunities to move forward, and you will get there. You got to keep pushing forward, and, find that stuff that keeps you well, sane, and positive.
Well said. That's a perfect way to wrap things up. So if you just joined us, Spencer, I see you said, what's the topic? Our topic is finding your joy and avoiding resentment. And we are hosting the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit October 3rd and 4th. We highlighted some amazing presenters who are going to be there to help you find your joy and to help you avoid some resentment. So you can catch this on replay if you've not seen it. And we would love to stay connected with everybody. Thank you, everybody who joined us today, Spencer and Gregory and Kenneth and Leslie, Christy, Nick, thank you so much. Felipe, the birthday boy, thank you for being here. Gregory, much appreciated. And those of you that are watching on replay, we certainly appreciate you as well.
Can I show the reel?
Please.
All right. that is our reel. That is the Work Balance Summit. Get your tickets. You can get the information right here at Creative Living Ideas. You can reach out to myself, Dr. Farron. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And you know what? Enjoy.
Enjoy. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for attending the 2350 Effect. If you are interested in becoming a guest or a sponsor, please contact Damien or Dr. Tanya. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 2350 Effect.